To create the waist, we need to start with a new part. Go to New, Metric, and Standard Millimeter IPT. We're then going to start with a 2D sketch. Click on 2D sketch and select one of the work planes. Draw a rectangle, click once and click twice. Remember, the shortcut for dimension is D on the keyboard. Make the vertical size 8 and the horizontal 15. Finish the sketch and extrude that shape 2mm. We're now going to make the to-be attachments to attach it onto the torso. I'm going to start a new sketch on the top surface and centre the view. Click on circle and find the green dot on the middle of the vertical line and bring it in, and you'll see a dotted line coming up. Click on the middle of the circle and click twice. Dimension and make it 4mm. Then we're going to distance it from the edge. The distance we're going to make it is 4.375. Just double check that it's still in the middle. If it's moved, make it 4 from the bottom. We're then going to draw a line down the centre. To find the centre, I hover over and my yellow dot will snap to the green dot. Click and draw a vertical line straight down the middle. Then I'm going to use a mirror tool again. Select the circle and then select the mirror line. Click on apply and that will give me a circle that is exactly a mirror image of the first one. Click on done, finish sketch and extrude. I'm going to select both circles and I'm going to extrude up 5mm. To help ease this into the holes, what I'm going to add is a chamfer. Click on chamfer, click on the top of both of the circles and change the chamfer size to 0.25. We're now going to start the attachment for the legs. We need to add a sort of hip joint onto the bottom of this. Start a sketch on the end of the rectangle. Draw a circle and have the circle come off the end in the centre. Use your dotted line and draw a circle that just hangs over the edge of the rectangle. Dimension this circle to 7. Then dimension the middle from the top to 4.75. Finish the sketch, extrude. Instead of adding on, what we're going to do is we're going to subtract the material. We want to subtract this material the whole distance of this rectangle. To do that, we could put in the size, or we can change this distance to extrude, subtract all, and OK. And we end up with an arch that is subtracted from the bottom of the rectangle. We're now going to do a more complex edit. To do that, we're going to use a work plane. A work plane is used when we don't have a surface to actually sketch on. This creates an additional surface that we can then add our sketch to. We want our work plane to run symmetrically down the middle of this rectangle. To do that, I'm going to click on plane, and I'm going to just click on this end here. I'm then going to rotate round my object, right click and OK, and I'm going to select the other end as well. As you can see, a workplane comes up directly in the middle of this rectangle. I'm then going to sketch on this workplane. Click on sketch and then click on the workplane. What we want to do is add a cylinder in the middle of this rectangle that we can attach the legs onto. To do that, I want to make the old sketch visible. So I'm going to open up my old extrusion where we subtracted the material away, right click on the sketch and make it visible. This brings up that sketch that we did in our last extrusion. What I want to do is project that geometry. So I'm going to click on project geometry and I'm going to click on the circle. When this happens, it changes to a yellow circle. If I rotate this round, you can see that that circle that we created originally has jumped onto that workplane that we've just created. I'm going to finish the sketch and I'm going to turn off the visibility of that original sketch. Then I'm going to click on extrude, and as you can see, it tries to extrude it in the one direction. What we want to do is make sure it is a symmetrical extrude. So I'm going to change it so that it goes both ways and change it to 2 millimeters. That has now added a cylinder that is exactly in the middle of the waist. We're now going to add the rails that the legs will attach onto. These will attach onto the cylinder that we just created. So start a sketch on the side profile of that cylinder. We have to find the centre of this circle. So we're going to project the geometry again of the circle, and you can see it projects up the centre. Draw another circle and dimension it to 1.5 millimeters. Finish the sketch. If you can't see it, just rotate round until you can. Extrude this small circle out 3 millimeters. Again, to ease it into the hole, we're going to add a fillet this time. Rather than a chamfer creates a sharp edge to it, a fillet rounds the edge. I'm going to click on fillet and I'm going to click on the edge of this cylinder. And I'm going to make sure the fillet size is 0.25. And OK. That gives us one side of the leg attachment. We want to have exactly the same thing mirrored on this side. I'm going to click on mirror, and I want to make sure I'm selecting both the extrusion and the fillet. That is the feature that we want to mirror. The mirror plane is that plane that we used in the last extrusion. So I'm going to select the mirror plane and it will change from a red arrow to a white arrow. And you can see it puts in that extrusion where it would go. Click OK. And we have mirrored that extrusion and that fillet so that it's exactly symmetrical on the other side. You can now turn off the visibility of that workplane by right clicking on it and unselecting visibility. You're now ready to change the material and add it to your assembly.